What up, y'all? It's your girl Katia, aka Mariama May, and I'm back again with another video. So if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to my channel. If you are new and supporting your girl, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And I'm gonna hop right into the story time. So I'm gonna just go by kind of like events that happened at this job, like this ghetto daycare that I worked at this past summer. This daycare slash preschool. During the school year, it's like a preschool, but during the summer, it's like daycare. So I start working at this job, you know what I'm saying? Like my boss, I get in there and at first it's like, you know, your wish is my command. You need more hours. Now, granted, I'm gonna let you know right now, the pay wasn't a lot, okay? So I'm gonna start off grip, but no money, but some money is better than no money, right? Okay, I'll let you decide. Comment down below if you think some money is better than no money, even if your job environment sucks. Okay, so I'm gonna just go by little events of the story because it's just like too much to try to explain each and every single scenario. So the first scenario that just lets me know that this job, like the setting, I'm gonna give you the setting that I'm in, okay? So the setting, sometimes I might work at this location, sometimes I might work at a different location. So how did I start working at the job? In the first place, I had a plug, I needed a job. Plug got me the job. I didn't have an interview. It was more like, you know, I just got the job as soon as I went there. It was no interview. So, you know, I get in, my boss, I'm gonna name her Felicia. Felicia's like, your wish is my command, da 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 da. Side note, Felicia has like these kids that need to be disciplined, just to say it quite frankly. Felicia's kids themselves weren't really disciplined, and they would be also at the workplace. And so now looking back in hindsight, I kind of see maybe how my dad's staff might have felt about us working he had a summer youth program. And so in a way, like our dad's like, oh, my daddy, he lets me, you know, you basically can do whatever you want to do at a certain age. So in hindsight, I can kind of see like, okay, maybe they would have thought, but we was disciplined though. We had respect. Like anybody that knows my family in the city that I live in, y'all know we disciplined. Even out of the city, different states, different locations, maybe even different countries. Y'all know we're disciplined children, we're respectful people. I'm not gonna be cussing at my mom in conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the mindset or whatever. The frame, the setting. So there's my boss, you know what I'm saying? Like her views on discipline or whatever. So remember that off the grip. And then also, mind you, I'm also the only woman of color aside from my plug at this place of work. So my plug worked at a different place that I only worked at once, maybe. And she wasn't even there the day that I worked there. So my plug, it's just me and her, you know, people of color. So at this location that I'm at, mainly, I'm the only person of color, so keep that in mind as well. So this setting is like this mean girl type of setting of this location. So I'm not the only one that felt this way. It was also another person that was more new, or that was a new girl there, and she was like, when I just started working here, like these girls are mean, man, like they were mean. And so that's just like something like, it's not just me like, oh, woe is me, victim, da 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 da. But if y'all know me, and anybody that knows me, that I've worked with, that I went to school with, that was my friend, you know that like I'm a vibe. Like I'm a chill person. Like that's just me. Like I'm a cool person, especially at my jobs. Like I keep to myself. I'm here to work. I'll be observant of people that I work with, like just to see what type of vibe you are, to see if you're a real person, to see if you're genuine. I'm just quiet and laid back and chill, and I'm gonna observe and go from there. I might be polite, I might speak, but for the most part, I just be like, if I don't know you like that and we just don't click, I'm pretty much just gonna be quiet. Might say I'm a little bougie, which I am a little bougie. It just is what it is. Maybe a little standoffish. And so she's like, these girls are mean here, you know, they were just mean. Like, and that was kind of a vibe really from a lot of the people. It was just like, you have this stuck-upness and arrogance to you that you don't even like, you don't own it. Like, who really are you? You know what I'm saying? It was like this one girl, and she was, not only was she mean and just lazy as a worker, I'm gonna name her Madeline. Not only was Madeline mean spirited and a lazy worker, like a less than bare minimum worker. Like, when I worked with her, she literally did like jack, like daily squat, like yell at the kids and be on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like what impression are you leaving on the kids? You don't care, and you're mean. Not only to the kids, but to the workers. But she was real buddy-buddy with my boss, Felicia. Like, sometimes she would leave and just be in Felicia's office, and they'd be doing whatever they're doing. And I'm over here, you know, or whoever, I'm like, for me, when I worked with her, I'm over here with these kids, and you ain't doing nothing. So really, why do you have this attitude about you? Like, and then not only that, was she lazy, bare minimum, and mean, but not that this really matters, but she didn't even, like, you didn't really, you know, look the best. So that just made it even, like, just more ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like looks ain't everything. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you can at least have a better attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes you more beautiful. Like, you shine from the inside out. But not only is your inside ugly, but the outside ain't that beautiful either. So it was just like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? So a mean setting type of environment. Like, a lot of the workers that were there, I would get left alone. So they would have this thing where it's just like, oh, okay, so let me tell you. When I first started working there, I feel like my attitude was maybe better than what, by the time it was time for me, you know, my time had expired there. You know what I'm saying? So by the time my time expired to me first starting out, it was just like, you know, I would come in and be observant. For me, especially like with kids, especially little kids, and that's why I worked with preschoolers, like 2 to 4. That was the main classroom I was in. Sometimes I worked with the 7 to 12, but I mostly work with 2 to 4. So in my experience in the 2 to 4 classroom, it was just like, hold on, Dale's calling me. Okay, so I'm back. So kind of like, I just had a little bit of ice cream, so I put a little chocolate on my tongue. Excuse me. I thought I had some hot Cheetos in here, but where did they go? But anyways, so yeah, so this environment, like, at first it wasn't, you know, there we go. At first, at first, you know, it wasn't as bad, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just give you some scenarios. So needless to say, I think that when I started working there, that's when the cleanliness really came into place, but they just wanted to still be dirty. So I'm gonna give you an example of just the coworker that I had. Like, at this daycare, I'm still on the setting. So the setting of my classroom was, I had with this one older lady. She was okay. She was like a good worker, but she was like a gossiper. So it was like, I'm gonna keep my distance from you, but you are a good worker. So that is respectful. You know, I can respect that. You're a good worker. You believe in disciplining kids. You're not gonna let them just do what they want to do. I respect that. And I'm gonna name her Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kelly was pretty cool. So then also in the classroom that I worked with, there was a woman, I'm gonna name her Sophia. So Sophia, she was also an older woman. I don't think she was as old as Kelly, but excuse me, this little gap. I don't think she was as old as Kelly, but she was just like a louder woman. She like kind of did her job, but like when it came to cleanup time, like she just sucked at cleaning up, which with 3 to 4 year old children, 2 to 4 year old kids, like all they do for the day basically is play. Like there's certain toys even that you had to like block off, like just because it was just so just because it would just be like just so much to clean up. Like it would just be clean up. So she kind of like was awful at that. She was just not the best with cleanup. And also with disciplining kids, like it was one kid that she definitely had favoritism with during nap time. It's like, boo, we don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be fair. Like little brat girl who's spoiled, you gonna take a nap too. I want to be with Miss Sophia because Miss Sophia spoiled her. That's why she wanted to be with her. Okay. but you needed to take a nap. And Miss Sophia would, of course, spoil her. So I would say she was all right on the spectrum with her job, honestly. And then I would not say she was the cleanest, because I'm gonna give you a reason why. This is the setting that I'm working with, you know what I'm saying, like in this particular room with the 3 to 4 year olds. So she would be like, there was an instance where a little girl, I dropped her food, I think either way the spaghetti was on the floor, her plate flipped over and it's on the floor. And so I'm like, you know, I'm situating the kids, I'm washing their hands. Needless to say, that day I probably got their food ready, heated everything up, got everything organized and clean. And mind you, we are getting out of a panorama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, because YouTube, if I can really say the word, but we are literally leaving not even a full year really out of a panorama. So cleanliness, you know what I'm saying? You need to be clean, especially little children. Like, they will be sick, like coughing and all this stuff, and people wasn't really cleaning like they should. Like, soap and water is cool and everything, or cleaning with soapy water is cool, but we need that stronger agent, you know what I'm saying? They have the bleach water too, so I will be using that thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I will be really cleaning, you know what I'm saying? Like, be cleaning and spraying, like, because it's important. So little girl's food over the floor, and she's like, oh, 3-second rule. There's no 3-second rule, honey. This is a dirty floor. The day isn't over. It hasn't been mopped and cleaned, which sometimes, like, honestly, like, the place just wasn't as clean. And I'm gonna get more into detail with that in the first place. So really, watch where you're sending your kids, okay? Watch where you are sending your kids, how people treat your kids at daycare, all of that stuff. Like, it's so important. Watch where you're sending your kids. So she's like, oh, 3-second rule. I was really about to give this girl her food back. And needless to say, excuse my dad. Dad, I'm filming, okay? I'm filming. So, needless to say, she would have given this girl, she would have given this girl, Dad, seriously.
Who's in here? Got it. Hiya.
I ate some of your ice cream.
You what?
Yeah, that's right. I'm filming, Dad, seriously.
You ate some of my ice cream and you filming?
Yes.
Forget the film.
This is my childish dad. Dad, you're taking up storage. I don't have a lot of storage.
Yeah, storage.
Right. So, like I was saying, needless to say, she would have given that little girl, if I was not working there, that little girl would have been eating the food off of that dirty floor. Like, so disgusting, so sick. And so I took that little girl's food from her and threw it in the trash. Like, it ain't no 3-second rule with that nasty, dirty food off the floor. And it's wet food. I could, you know, granted, if it's me, I can understand with dry food, you know what I'm saying? But like, wet food on the floor for longer than 3 seconds. Wasn't no 3-second rule, Sophia, okay? It's nasty. So, and they had the nerve to get an attitude with me, to feel a slight with me, because I'm getting that girl some new clean food. Like, this is the environment, this is the setting, my work setting that I go into. So then this is still in the same 2 to 4 room. So then dealing with that girl, Sophia, Kelly, she was cool, but like, she just had a gossiping problem. So then another girl that I worked with in the classroom, she actually was a good worker. She was on her up to her business. You know, she handled business, like she would do things and stuff in the classroom. And I'm gonna name her Angelica. So Angelica, she did a pretty good job. Like, she was younger than me. She was like, not too much younger than me, but she was like younger than me, you know what I'm saying? So she like basically like, she like did her job for the most part. And side note, when it would be nap time for the kids in this room, I'm gonna talk about Kelly and Angelica too, maybe, I don't know. It was me. I know Kelly was there and another girl. So when it's nap time, so Kelly, she's an older woman. Mind you, she had kind of an issue with cell phones. Like sometimes she would be on her phone, but she still had the nerve to be like, ugh, feeling the way about cell phones. And just to keep it 100 with you, like, I'm gonna be on my phone. Like, that's just, it is what it is. Like, you can call it what you want. I know how to handle my business and still be on my phone. So, especially during nap time, like while the kids are sleeping for 2 hours, I'm gonna, read a book? Read a children's book? No, I'm gonna be on my phone. So even during nap time, Kelly had an issue. There was a point, she's like, even phones. Like, I don't like phones. Like people are being on their phones and blah, blah. And this other worker's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, under Kelly's whatever, like, yeah, maybe I'm not really like on my phone and da da da. I'll be on my phone. And what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. It's nap time. I'm on my phone. Period. So it was just like, or if nothing was going on, you know what I'm saying? The kids are under control, nothing's happening. I'm on my phone. Fight me. I know how to do my job. I'm a boss at this. I've been in the game with children for years. Like, I'm only 23 years old, but I've been in this kid game for years. And I'm a pro. I'm a professional at it. As the people at my job. Okay? So it was just like, yeah, I'll be on my phone. So get over it. You're not my boss. You're not the boss of this classroom. I don't care. I'm on my phone. Take it from me. And they were just probably shocked that I said that. I was like, yeah, I'll be on my phone. Sure do. And so this is like kind of like the setting I work with now. Angelica, like I said, she would do her job sometimes, but towards the end of my time expiring at this job, sometimes like Angelica, she would go MIA, like to the boss's office for like 30 minutes, and like I'm with the kids. So needless to say, when I got left with the kids by myself, nobody would be saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem if Miss Mariama May was working by herself with all of these kids, which normally it would be like 18 to 20 maybe in the classroom. Little kids, you know, run around, da da da. And needless to say, they're little kids, so they can't overpower me, but it can be a lot. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So when I'm left with the kids, it's not a problem. When they're left with the kids, it's like, oh, it can only be a kid ratio for every 8 kids or for every 10 kids. I got told 2 different things, so that's the first thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh, for every certain amount of kids, it's supposed to be a counselor there, or somebody needs to be with me. Like, cry me a river. You wasn't saying that when you was leaving me alone, okay? Cry me a river. So that was one thing. And so like I was saying to y'all about cleanliness, like I'm big on cleanliness. Like, wipe the desk, give the kids hand sanitizer. Like, they're spreading germs. Like, I even got sick, not with COVID, but I got sick working there, like first working with, you know, kids again. And so I got a cold like really bad, you know what I'm saying? So I'm big on, like, you know, using the bleach water, which is okay to use, like using the bleach water, like using Lysol. And there was a time, y'all, I would literally spray Lysol because I know they wasn't wiping them chairs on. And kids, like, their hands and mouth, like, you know that there's a hands, feet, and mouth disease like that can be predominant with children. Like, it's not clean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that daycare was just not clean. Like, and like they would say, like, maybe spray the toys at night, like, but the toys are in a bucket, so the bleach water is going to be down in the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the efforts that they have to clean daycares, like, there really needs to be a better order or like a better chain system, whatever, to clean it, because it's so unsanitary, or it was there. Like, so I would be using bleach and like cleaning and spraying and everything, spraying the table with bleach water, which was okay to use. And then even Lysol, which is, I know is okay to use. So mind you, I'm Lysoling these chairs down one day. The next day I come into work and they talk about it's against licensing to use Lysol. It's not. This is dirty. Y'all need to clean these chairs. Like, it's not against licensing, because why during the panorama all this stuff is gone? Why at the school, the actual legit school that I'm working with, they're okay with Clorox wipes, but it's against licensing to use Lysol? It's not, though. Show me. And then also, it was just like, if we really, like, y'all want to follow rules on that, if we really want to be following the rules, I'm not even supposed to be working here because I didn't take that TB test. So don't be talking about you want to be nitpicking about rules. Let's really get down to the nitty gritty, because you're not following the rules. You're not following the licensing rules. Like, and she said that, she's like, technically, you know, my boss or whatever, Felicia, she's like, technically you're not, like, I can't put you in the classroom if you don't have this TV test. But who was in the classroom though? Me. So there's Lysol need to be in the classroom when you're cleaning it, like, at least. So that was just like one ghetto part about this job or whatever. And it was just like, and then even with disciplining, there was this little boy, I put him in timeout, and Felicia got the nerve, my boss, she's like, we don't do timeouts. These kids need to be disciplined. That is one of the whole, and like I said, Felicia's kids themselves was not disciplined. Like, her oldest child, sometimes she would be in like the older kids group, like the school age, and causing havoc, cussing at kids. And it was just like, your kids are not disciplined. You need to believe in timeout, because your kids need to be timeout. You need to be put in timeout for not putting your kids in timeout. And she's like, we don't do timeout, da 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 da. I'm just like, no wonder this daycare is the way it is. And like, even in the staff meeting, like, that we had one time, there wasn't, some of the co-workers, like, they wasn't really hardly showing her respect. Felicia, the boss. And I'm just like, this daycare lacks discipline. It's a lack of discipline, okay? The kids ain't disciplined. The staff are mean and rude. The boss is, she wasn't a bad boss. She was like very chill, but also to the point where like your employees are like not as respectful to you as they should be. Like, in the staff meeting, I can see when you veer off and you're like, ha ha ha. But like, if you a boss, then be a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid to let people know what it is and what it ain't. And that's just, it is what it is. You are the boss. And she's just like laughing, like kind of, you know, nervously or whatever. Like, you could just tell that she's nervous. Like, as a leader myself, you can just tell when somebody isn't really just kind of like confident or a leader. I'm just like, so that was one thing about the setting. So they don't believe in discipline. You can't put the kids in timeout, which actually Kelly, she did. The older woman in the classroom, she actually did. Like, she would sit them in timeout. So I sat this boy in timeout, and then it was the issue. So, and then when I first like started working there with this whole mean girl vibe, it was just like basically like nothing really, but just telling me like, you're gonna clean. So it got to a point when I was working with school age one time, I was working with that girl, Madeline, that I had told y'all about with the bad spirit and the bad countenance. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just on her phone all the time. So Madeline had to clean or whatever. And I did end up talking to my boss about it. Like, I'll be left alone with these kids. Like, I'm doing all this work and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really getting helped. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would like complain to my man. Like, I would be telling Daniel, I'm just like, oh, I do not want to work here. I want to quit. I want to quit. I want to quit. You know what I'm saying? And so, it was just very ghetto. Like, it was a ghetto experience. And I've worked with kids whose behavior was even worse. And even in the staffing, I'm like, I just believe discipline should just be like kind of across the board. Now, granted, it doesn't have to be as strict, but there needs to be rules in place. Like, one staff member can't be okay with a little kid getting smart with them. Like, one day you're fine with it, one day you're not. There needs to be a consistent respect amongst each other and amongst the children. You know what I'm saying? Like, children to staff, child to staff. You know what I'm saying? Like, favoritism and all this stuff. Like, granted, I have students that I work with now that I love and cherish dearly, but respect is a must from whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Especially a child. Like, boy, bye. Yeah, so this place was just, it was just very ghetto and unsanitary. Even some of the ways some of them talk to the children, like, you don't have to yell all the time. Like, please shut up. Like, just stop it. So that was my experience working at this place. That's kind of like my little story time. There was one occasion, and I'm gonna just wrap it up and end this video, where I had a coworker, and she also was one of the ones that was just kind of like uppity. And so there was a little boy that I was working with, my normal kids, like the 2 to 4 or whatever. So I was working with them, and she was with the older kids. Now, at the end of the day, they all just kind of come together until the parents come pick them up, either outside or in the gym. So there was this one little boy that was being bad and he didn't want to listen. So I said, okay, you stay with me while I clean up this room. And I told this other girl, Lord Jesus, there's so much, like this other girl that sucked at working, that was younger than me, who sometimes she would take breaks and just be gone for 30 minutes. Or when kids are bad, they would, she was like, oh, you need to go for a walk and be gone for a while I'm with the kids or whatever. And she just sucked at working, honestly. Like, she just wasn't the best. And I'm not saying I was the best worker, but I was a good worker. And that, okay, sorry, my camera cut off. Hopefully it don't cut off again. So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, there was this girl, like, she just basically sucks. So I'm just like, you know, you take the kids outside, I'm gonna clean up, because I like to clean a certain way. Like I said, I believe in using bleach. We in a panorama, we coming out of a panorama, kids is dirty, they got germs. So I'm like cleaning, vacuuming, mopping the floors good, you know, changing the trash, whatever, spraying the tables. Like, I would constantly be cleaning those tables because the kids would be there or whatever. So like I said, I'm not saying I'm the best. I was the best worker, the only good worker. Like I said, Kelly would do her thing. What's the other girl's name? The spaghetti with the food lady. She would kind of do her thing. She wasn't the best at cleanup, but that's neither here nor there. And then, like I said, Madeline, she would do her thing. It was just like the setting. It was just ghetto. Yeah, it was this girl from school age, one of the workers from school age. She decided to get in my mix with my classroom, with my student, when it's none of her business. And so, like I said, this little boy, he wasn't listening, and the kids are going outside. So you're going to be disciplined. You don't get to do what you want to do. And you're going to stay with me while I clean, and then we'll go outside, or I'll send you outside when I'm ready to send you outside. And so here come, oh girl, that's annoying. Well, somebody that's annoying. A Cinderella's stepsister. So here comes Cinderella's stepsister in my business, like, okay, you're gonna come with me now, taking this little boy. And I'm just like, whatever, he's in timeout. She's like, well, I'm just gonna take him. She's like, I'm gonna take him with me and you can focus on cleaning. Like, basically, like, just basically, like, the way she said it, I just really did not like it. I didn't appreciate it. It was just like, you do this and I do this. Like, you need to focus on cleaning and I'm gonna take him, type of thing. And it was just like, oh, okay, that's a bit. So that's what I did. I focused on cleaning and I took my sweet time doing it. I took a very long time cleaning. It didn't have to take me that long. But since you want to be in my business and take my students, I took it upon myself to be a little petty. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was petty with that. I was like, I'm gonna take my sweet time cleaning. And guess who was there when I went back? By that time, I had cleaned for like probably an hour. It did not have to take me an hour to clean, but since she wanted to be my boss and play her role, I decided, let's play roles. Let's do this then, Cinderella's stepsister. So I took my sweet time cleaning, went back in the gym. Who was in the gym waiting with my students? She's like, all of my students are gone. I'm just here with yours. And I'm just like, too bad. So sad. That's what you get for getting in my business. And so it was just like all my students are gone. I'm just here with yours. And just like, yeah, I was definitely petty for that. But I got left alone all the time. And she had a bad attitude and she was in my business, so she had to do that. So I was just like, I took my sweet precious time. She was right in the gym with my kids, and that's what she did. So that was just kind of like the setting of this, ghetto job, dirty, and it was just a big ghetto, and it wasn't worth the money. Like, I remember one time I felt like I was putting in work because of the work I was putting in at the job and the hours. I really thought I was gonna get a good check. And so I'm like talking to Daniel, I'm talking to my man, I'm like, this is about to be a good check, you know what I'm saying? But granted, the hourly was not worth the work I was putting into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the hourly was not worth the mean girl vibes. It wasn't worth the lack of discipline. It wasn't worth the constant cleaning up. It wasn't worth the effort. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking I'm gonna have a good check. Y'all, my check was so small. It was like $300 and something. I waited 2 weeks for $300. It was not worth it. And granted, like, I didn't even get no check stub either, so it probably should have been more. And so me and Daniel, like, he's just cracking up. Like, we just laughed about it. It was a moment that we could laugh about, but it was just like, this job is not worth it. So my time expired. It expired at that job. And I'm back where I should have been over the summer in the first place. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Watch where you send your kids and make sure it's clean. Make sure you do pop-up visits because somebody could be trying to, you know, feed your kid food off the floor or be yelling disrespectfully at your kid. Watch where you send your kids to daycare, preschool, wherever. Be watchful of petty employment places like that, talking about licensing. Like, but they not really following the rules though. But you're not following the rules though. Yeah, that's my experience. We'll never forget it. It sucked. Did not like that job. Wanted to quit almost every day towards the end. And yeah, so now I am back where I belong. If you like this video and you want more story times, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Without further ado, over and out.